Okay, people, I'm going to explain this once, and this is going to be the full explanation of what I've actually re-talked about, but said in a better way. So, bear with me. Our jobs, there's certain jobs for this world that's a necessity, a need, for our physical need to survive, right? Because that's all it is. Food, water, shelter, warmth, you know what I mean? And all the jobs that have no prior meaning to it, but we only think of that, we need that job though to get the money to get what we need to live, to survive, and to pay the bills, of course. So of that systematic thing, and in a way it's kind of prisonated in a sort of sense. They make it so it's just breaking even to a scale of that which is not necessary. It could be overabundant. People actually could save their money or go different places, change more things in the world. We are the physical human to change things. The poor, what would happen if more people had more money? Would there be more of a demand for more things? Or would more people do more things outside of the box with their money? Like, what I'm trying to say is that we're reaching all these problems, and the people that have this money are utilizing it in a way with the system that's already utilized into. So the mix in itself, with all the jobs, that there's some jobs that are necessary for survival and some aren't. And all we're trying to do with our life is to live off the money which you get for any given job. That's a systematic thing. But they're intermerging all these other, jobs and new things and new different things just to create that different product. See? It's almost like building this other building using materials that already exist to make a little bit, say, altered item. Or another company that makes the same thing, but just trying to keep up with the business side of them, things of that nature. But you can see where, when that's not a necessary thing, the dude getting a job is not necessarily willing that into existence. He didn't say, I asked for this. He was just saying, this is the only job available for me at the time. Choose that job, I make a good amount of money so I could live, And then the thing is that you see where I'm going with this. You see how this is making sense. In my mind, I believe 100%, because back then I knew what I was onto, and now to release this information in a sort of way that you can fully ground the wave of information that you know what I mean. We're all a part of this. We're all a part of what we need for a family, or what we actually desire for a family to be happy with, and that is a sane frame of mind. See, mankind is not insane. It's the tactics that we're getting done to us which is insane, and that they don't see through, though. They don't see that deep behind it. But we got to see that for that. See it through the surface. See it for the surface of what we hold inside of ourselves. Like, okay, the aspect which mankind looks at, is valid and is true for what they see, for what they do see. See? Because we live off the truth of that being, of what we do feel, of what we do feel that we need. Fucking the dark ones are trying all this fucking equipment to get me stirred up, huh? It's not working, is it? No, they can't take me out. They won't. And dude, I was just getting that because all I'm trying to say is that the surface level of what we do understand. Now start breaking that surface level down. This is how to get to the level. Now just say you take off the first layer of that thought process, of that degree or an aspect. We get into a different aspect of itself. It could be many different things of that, of what you see in that, of what you understand from that. As time goes on, you'll understand more things about that. But by prior reflecting and looking back, we analogize, we figure it out. And it gets clear in our mind. It becomes the function of God. It becomes the function of, with the familiarity in ourself is what we see, familiarity in everything else. That's the real function and foundation that holds our thought process together. Without this living being, remember, we even have this human experience. So what I'm saying is that robot it's nothing. Like, it is not that living creation. It is quite fooled to be, thinking that that would be beneficial if all this race dies out. That's basically taking out a race, not even knowing it. Literally, without this race of people here on planet Earth, what we did for centuries, and for what, did all this, you can see where our intentions, all of our intentions got caged, They got, rounded up. Think about it. When you birthed into this existence, there's so many things that already exist here that you have to learn. You have to grow adjusted to. It's inside your subconscious mind. And as you adjust to that fragment of mind, to realize the truth behind it, you'll see so many times, looking back then, how many times that word was twisted around in a circle. Like the scientists think, there's so much more to this universe, but we know nothing. They're playing dumb. Like, you first start out by saying, I know everything, I'm a part of everything. I can connect with everything, I'm a part of everything. As you do that, you start seeing things for what they are. You start becoming the function in itself prior from anybody telling you what to do. So that life force, that tree, it had its own consciousness. It never changed from the connection it was from. It never lost that. The only way we lose that is because we are in the mix of other people's, merging, counteractive stuff. So, quite literally, when you come into this existence, the ones that actually do this have backup. Because, you know what I mean? It's only the times that we really see through this that we have this, guidance coming through us, and sometimes we can't access it. Sometimes it's almost like we're beating our heads against a wall, not figuring anything out. There's certain times where it all makes sense. And what I'm saying is that's the truth, how to determine truth from truth. And we see through everybody has this, and everybody really knows more. Like, I know, in the inside, that's why I see it in others, to see who they are. Underneath it all, I can see that, though. Underneath, even if that this much in it, I'd still notice this much. Because nothing, I know what nothing would look like, even for a soul. I've had some dreams and stuff, that really showed me aspects. They weren't just, some dreams are, symbolically laid out a certain way. Almost teaching, by that experience. Just like it teaches us in this experience. And as I merge who I was in the dream world, because that's something I actually do resonate and feel that way. When I was little, society counterbalanced that a lot. And the thing is that when I was back on top with all this of what it was is that my being in general, really embraced that aspect of it. It tried to understand it. It studied it. It studied itself, and then it realized all of what it known. And you study everything else around you, which is what I did, and that's basically the part of itself too as well. I know who I am, but at the same time, I question myself, because if I'm living in a world like this, there's something has to be wrong. Either not with my consciousness, but what's around me as well, I wasn't saying that, it was perfect for me, because this transition into what we are living in the time, every day we are living, we have to deal with people telling us what to do, all these third dimensional things, which take up so much time, you see. We're living in a prison, and even outside that prison, there is a prison that you can go to by not obeying what the prison says. You know what I mean? All these people get together, start using your money, buying the land, and doing something on it differently, whole differently, and just change it, terraform it. The best way for the planet and everything else. And And then they'll see that reflection, and guess what? It can happen and will. But the thing is that, because when it gets down to the nitty gritty, you don't want that. You'll hardly make it. See, what I'm thinking about is doing it ahead of time. Making sure the cell foundation for this future generations of kids to grow up and know what's going on. Without that, there's nothing to grab onto. Not one person will make a move, right? Not one. And regardless, Bush even said he's going to give me a ride to Kentucky. So I do have somebody that is willing, and I have good directions on my phone and everything. So I'll even direct them where to go. So it'll be all fine. As long as we got service, you know what I mean? And if I don't want service, we just pull over, We take this one, we got a trailer on, that'd be... And then I'm buying a bike. I found a bike store, and it's like $75, and it's actually a really good bike. Buy that bike, you know what I mean? I'll be able to drive to my work and back, and try to get my license down in Kentucky. It's been 3 years since it's been suspended, pretty much. And then I still have to go through an interlock? No, there's something wrong with the government. They're trying to fuck with my mind. And everybody else can see what's going on. But they don't want to admit to, maybe they're trying to stop this dude. Because this dude is not playing. Because what I'm saying to you is what I'm feeling from you. Because when I get on these levels, you don't understand. You don't. And that's why I like solitude. I like people that are actually taking this seriously and actually stepping into their power. I feel so much life in that once it's, because listen, I see the glory in that in itself. Well, the reason why we see this as love and light right now, but it's not peace and light. It's love and light because we're in a hard time. When there's peace and light, there's no one trying really hard on a video, dude. There's no one going to be trying hard. Can't you see? It'll be done. This problem we're all dealing with will be done. It's about taking these two hands. We have all the people. We have more power than you think. They're trying to bluff it into the end. Dude, if we use it, use our own minds, use our own will, we do not have to sign up to go to war. We don't have to. All of us can refuse it. We're all living beings. If all of us does it, there will be no war. It's because you were buying into something, that wasn't right. It did what to its people that actually were struggling in life. If they were struggling, and then they're even harder on them, it creates that pain, but they do it, try to make like they're good guy all the time. That's the whole deal. What did it say in the Bible? Read the Bible, read this shit.